Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to navigate one of New Zealand's leading investing platforms for US shares, Hatch. We'll be going through how to buy and sell stocks and ETFs, how to do your research on the platform, help screens, depositing and withdrawing funds, and lots more. I've also made other similar videos for other popular brokers, including Sharesies and Kernel. So if you like this video and want to watch others in the series, make sure to subscribe to my channel down below. Without further ado, let's get into it. So when we go to the Hatch website, the first thing that comes up is the portfolio screen. And this is where we can see everything that relates to our portfolio. So at the top it says when the market's open, which in my case, because I'm filming this on a Sunday, is in 35 hours and 11 minutes. And that represents 1:30 AM on Tuesday morning. When we go down from there, we can see the portfolio value. Now you can see in my wallet, I only have $7. And this is because I don't currently have any investments with Hatch. So this represents a little bit of money that is still sitting there. We can also see this in New Zealand dollars by using this filter here. And you can see that my portfolio value in New Zealand dollars is $10.70. To the right of that, you can see the total return. And you can see that I'm currently in a negative $1,700 position. This is because when I sold my shares, I'd made a loss, and we'll be able to see that in the graph below. So when we look at the graph, we have a number of different time horizons that we can select to see how our portfolio has changed over time relative to the amount that we've invested. For example, in my case, you can see I started investing in late 2019, and I pulled my money out in late September 2020. When we look at the purple line, that's the amount that we've invested. And when we look at the red line, that's the amount that our portfolio is worth. When the purple line is above the red line, as is the case with me, you're in a loss position. And when it's the other way around, with the red on top of the purple, it means you're in a profit position. So unfortunately in this case, mine was negative. As you can see from my portfolio, I made some bad investments around the time of COVID. And though it was recovering, I wanted to move a lot of my portfolio into Sharesies so that I wasn't managing as many portfolios. As we go down from there, we can see the current investments. Now in my case, there's nothing here. However, if you do own any positions, ETFs or stocks, this is where you'll see them. And you'll be able to see how much money you've either made or lost on each individual position. When we go down even further, we can see some information there around how to contact Hatch. And also something around the Facebook group, as we can see here. The Hatch Investor Club on Facebook is really good because you have a lot of other people that are on the platform who are asking similar questions to ones that you might have. And Hatch also have a number of their staff on there as well to answer any questions you might have. If we scroll back to the top, the first option we have is Browse. And this is where we can look up any different investments that we're looking for. For example, we have companies there, which could be Tesla, Apple, that kind of thing. We also have ETFs, which are bundles of stocks that are under one instrument, for example VOO, which is the S&P 500. We also have IPOs, which is where companies initially are allowing the public to invest in their shares. A good example from last year was Rocket Lab and Allbirds. This is something unique to Hatch, as other investing platforms such as Sharesies don't currently have access to IPOs. When we look at companies, we can see all the different companies that we can invest in through Hatch. So if we scroll down, what's shown here by default is the most traded stocks. And of course Tesla and NIO are number one. We also have access to a number of different filters here. So we can look at different industries, for example, agriculture, healthcare, and real estate. We also have access to other filters, including ADRs, which is where a company is listed overseas, but their shares are also listed in the US through a thing called an ADR. And this is quite common for Chinese companies like NIO, for example, or Alibaba. We can also look at dividend payers, and also we can search by market capitalization as well. But in total on Hatch, we have 4,700 different companies that we can invest in. We can also use a sort here. So what we can do is we can look at this and we can look at the biggest gainers and losers in a single day. Or for example, we can filter for stocks that pay the highest dividend yields. But by default, it shows the most traded. So if, for example, we want to look into one of the companies, we can simply click on it here, or we can search for it. For example, Rocket Lab. So now we've opened up the Rocket Lab page. And what we can see here is the latest price of the shares. Below that, we can also see the price movement. And this will align with the time horizon we select in the graph down below. As we move our cursor on the chart, we can see how the price has changed over time. As we go down from there, we can also add stocks to our watch list, and we can access this from the top. And we also have a buy button, and some basic information about the company, such as the open price for the latest trading day, the low and high of the session, and we can also see the market cap, the price earnings ratio, if the company turns a profit, and the dividend yield. In this case, a dividend isn't paid, as this is a company in its real startup stage. And as we go down from there, we can see a description about the company. And we can see, of course, that it's an aerospace company that designs rockets, satellite components, and a bunch of other things related to the space economy. We also have two buttons down here for Investor Center and Yahoo Finance. So if we look at the Investor Center, we can see any disclosures that the company has made. So think of this a bit like the announcement section on the NZX website for New Zealand shares. And one of the most important things here is seeing the annual reports. And we can see that one just here, which is the 10K listing. We can also see Yahoo Finance, and we can look through there for some other information. If we go back to the company page and we scroll up, let's have a look at the buy selection. So if we click on this, we see 4 different selections that come up. The first of these is market buy, which is simply where we want to purchase the stock no matter what the price is when the market opens. The second is limit buy, which we also have the option on Sharesies. And this is where we set the maximum price we want to pay for the stock. For example, if the price is $10 now, but the maximum we want to pay is $9, we can set up a limit buy at $9. And it means that when we purchase the stock, we won't pay more than $9. The thing, of course, to keep in mind is that it won't transact unless the price does drop to $9. So you're not guaranteed to get the stock at that low price. The third option is to auto invest. And this is where you tell Hatch that every week you want to purchase $50, $100, something like that of this particular stock. And all you need to do on your side is make sure you have enough money on the day to buy the stock. And the last selection here is stop buy. Now this isn't as common, however what you're saying is if the price increases to a certain level, you want to begin buying. For example, if the price is $10 now and you set a stop buy at $11, what it means is that when the price goes up to $11, you then start acquiring stock. So we have a number of different purchase options here, which we don't get with the likes of Sharesies. So if we look at market buy, all we need to do here is say how much we want to buy. For example, $10. And what we'll see down from there is the estimated fee, which is currently $3. And if we have enough money in our wallet, we can then press review market buy order. However, in my case, of course, I haven't got enough. Now, if we want to place a different type of buy order, we can simply use the drop down here. For example, limit buy. Now, something to keep in mind here is you have to work in whole shares. So for example, if we want to purchase 2 shares, at a maximum price of $7.50, we can set that up just as so. And you can see the last traded price was $7.92. So what we're hoping is that the price will come down 42 cents and reach our share price, and then we'll be able to execute this buy order. We can also select the expiry date. So if we want this to transact only in the next 24 hours, that's what it is by default. But we can also set this up for 90 days as well. So if the price changes in the next 90 days and comes down to our price level, that will then execute. Now if we look at auto invest, what we say here is how much we want to invest, how often we want to invest, and when we want that to start. So for example, I might want to put $50 a week into Rocket Lab. I want this to execute every week, and I want it to start from the 4th of the 4th, 2022. And what we can see is that every week we'll be putting away $53 to purchase $50 of Rocket Lab. And as long as we have that amount in our wallet, that order will execute. And the last option to purchase is stop buy. And again, we have to work in the whole number of shares. For example, 2 whole shares. And we have to put a price that's higher than the current price. For example, we might put in $9. And down below, we can also put an expiry. And what this means is that when the price hits $9, that order will execute. So even though the price is currently lower than that, what we're wanting to do is set a buy. So if the price does come up to that level, then it executes. And what of course we hope from there is that the price continues. So it might be good for momentum plays, but it's definitely not as popular as the other 3 options. Now something to keep in mind around selling shares is that it's much the same. You can do a market sell, you can do a limit sell, and you can also do a stop sell, which is the opposite of what we've just discussed. However, as I don't currently own anything on Hatch, I can't show you this, but it's basically exactly the same. So let's now look at ETFs. So this page basically looks the same as what it did for companies, where we can type in the type of ETF we're looking for, we can use our filters as well, and we can also use the sort function. This is set to most traded by default, so let's have a look at that. So the most common ETF is VU, which is very famous for its low fees and exposure to a lot of the stock market, particularly the tech stocks. And as we look through this list, we can see a lot of Vanguard, we can see a lot of ARK Invest as well, which is a thematic ETF that's based around growth stocks. And some of you might have heard of Cathie Wood, and there's a big following behind these ETFs. So if we click on VU, for example, the screen looks a lot like the one for companies. And as we scroll down, we see a lot of the same information and a bit of an explanation around what the fund is. And of course we can see that the investing performance will be around the S&P 500, which is one of the leading index funds for the US market. And the last screen is IPOs. Now at the moment there aren't any IPOs available, however when they are, you can subscribe to this using this button just here. And you can see that I already have. So that summarizes all the different investing options that we have with Hatch. The next screen we have access to is called Discover. And this is a great place to go to if you're wanting to learn more about the Hatch platform or different investing jargon, things like what is an ETF and things like that. You can simply look that up here. So as we scroll down, we can see some themes that are common with investors, looking at future tech, green investments, gender diversity, and pop pioneers. So if we click on gender diversity, for example, Hatch make it really easy to invest in these different themes. For example, here we can see different ETFs. For example, there's an SPDR fund, and we can also see different companies. which are companies that are led by women CEOs. So this is a great place to come to if you want to learn more about companies that are at the forefront of these themes. If we scroll down from there, we can see Hatch have a free course as well. And if we click on that, we can see that Hatch have created a free course for anybody that's wanting to learn more about investing in the stock market. So you can see they've put a lot of effort into this, making 10 different courses of 10 minutes each to break down a lot of the jargon and a lot of the complication with investing in the stock market. So if you're new to investing, this is a great resource to come to. Even if you're not investing with Hatch, I think it's just really good information to know. And of course, it's free. And to the right of that, they have the Learn Center. And they have a number of different interesting articles here, which can help you on your journey around investing. As we go down from there, again, they're inviting you to the Hatch Investors Club on Facebook. And you also have access to a number of different webinars that Hatch have hosted in the past. So you can see a lot of great content here if you're new to investing. The next screen we have access to is transactions. And this is where we can see anything relating to our wallet. So that could be where we've put money in, we've taken money out, we've bought some shares, or we might have sold them. If you've got enough money with Hatch and it's sitting around in your wallet, they'll also pay you interest on your balance. And one of the last things you're likely to see is dividends from any positions that you currently hold. The next screen is Watchlist. And as you can see here, I have 4 different positions that we can have a look into. So the Watchlist is basically where you save different companies that you might be interested in investing in, but you're not quite ready yet, and you want to see what happens to the company before you invest. So you can see here that I have Google, and I also have gold and silver ETFs. So I added these to my watch list as at a point in time I was interested in investing in these. So this is something great that Hatch offers that you can also find on the likes of Sharesies. The next screen I'd like to show is the Help screen. And if we go to the Help Center, this is a great place to go to if you have any questions about the platform that somebody might have already answered. So for example, if we wanted to see what the fees are on the platform, we can simply write that in here and we'll find our answer to the question. And they make this really easy to read and very transparent. Other options under Help that we have access to is to send Hatch a message, and this is where you have any questions relating to your account or any questions that might not have been on the Help screen. So for example, if we click on that, we can see this chatbot pops up and we can simply send them a message, or we can also schedule a call. And this is where we can click this button and we can schedule a 15-minute session with one of their staff who will call you at that time. And this is something really cool with Hatch because with Sharesies, they might not get in contact with you for 24 hours and it's only via the chatbot. However, with Hatch, they actually give you a call and you can ask anything you want. Anything that confuses you about the platform or investing in general, they're willing to help. So for customer service, Hatch is unrivaled. The last screen I wanted to show is just here, the first of which is how to deposit funds. The first thing they show here is an example of what we'd get if we put $100 into the platform. So you can see the current exchange rate and the exchange fee. So for 100 New Zealand dollars, we would get $68.36 in US dollars. And this would generally take 1 to 2 days to arrive in our Hatch wallet. Now, just like Kernel, there's only one way to put money into your Hatch account, and that's via bank transfers. So we can set up Hatch as a payee, and it means that we don't have to put this information in each and every single time we want to put money in the platform. So down here we can see the bank account number, and we can also see the reference code. So they can trace this back to our Hatch account. And up here you can see that if you deposit the funds before 1 PM on a business day, the money will arrive in your account before the trading day starts in the US, which is 1:30 AM at the moment. Now if we want to withdraw funds, we can also do that here as well. So you can see here that it defaults with the bank account that you used when you set up your account. And you can type in how much you want to withdraw from your account. For example, $7 US. If we scroll down, we can see the current exchange rate. And if we're happy with that, we can click Confirm Withdrawal. Do note that it takes around 4 days for the withdrawals to turn up in your bank account. So just be conscious of this if you're making a withdrawal. We can also pull different reports from Hatch as well. So we can do this in this screen. So we can see here that we can produce a New Zealand tax report, a US tax report, we can get different account statements, and we can also get confirmations of the orders that we've placed. So if you're looking for these options, you can find those in that screen. We also have the option to refer friends as well. And here when somebody you know signs up using your code, not only do you get $10, but they get $10 as well when they put their first $100 into Hatch. Now if anybody watching is looking at joining Hatch, I've put my referral code down in the description below. And that means that you'll get $10 to start investing on Hatch, and I'll also get $10 as well. So thank you in advance. Something else you can do on Hatch is you can set up a kids account. This is a great way to get your kids interested in investing, and you can do so with much lower fees. While the usual fee is $3 to place an order, through a kids account it's just 50 cents. So it's really cool that they do this because it means that you can put money aside for your children and it's separate from your personal account, similar to what Sharesies do. And the last option we have here is settings. So in here we can simply change our password, we can set up 2-factor authorization as well if we want to put a second layer of protection behind our account. And we also have our account settings, which is where you have your name and address details. Now if you use ShareSite to track your stocks, or use Henry as a contractor, You can set those up to work with Hatch by using this here, Partner Connections. So you can simply go to the screen, you can click on Connect on either of these, and you can then integrate those into the Hatch system. However, for most of you, this won't be so important. So that sums up everything that we can do on the Hatch platform. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like this in the series looking at all of New Zealand's investing platforms, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below and use the notification bell if you want to be informed every time I post. So thanks for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.